Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder Express.
Yay and choo-choo.
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Petrogallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmy Wisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us today.
Yeah.
All aboard the murder train, pulling away from the station.
We have
some wild stuff for you today. I'm telling you, as usual. Express is always insane. Well, the regular episodes are insane. Yeah. They're all crazy. This is a nutty one. It's down in Kentucky, too, where lots of nutty stuff happens. We'll get to that in a second. Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com. Get your tickets for live shows in the fall. Mm-hmm. We are going to be, there's a couple left in Grand Rapids that we just released. Yeah. Then we have in October, there's some left for Seattle, the night after Portland, which is sold out. And then we have some left for D.C. and Philly in December. So there's not a lot left. Get your tickets right now and come see us. Yeah. We're excited for that. Shutupandgivememurder.com and grab some merch and wear it to the show, too, while you're there. Please do that. Also, big announcement here for Patreon.
Oh.
This is exciting. Patreon.com/CrimeInSports. Just like the name of our other show that we'd love you to listen to.
In, not out. Yeah.
In sports, yes. Patreon is patreon.com/CrimeInSports. You get all your bonus material.
Yeah.
Not only that, we got an extra one for you this week, but anybody $5 a month or above, you're going to get all the whole hundreds of back catalog of bonus episodes immediately upon subscription. New ones every other week, including this week, One Crime in Sports, One Small Town Murder, and you get it all. This week, for Crime in Sports, we're going to talk about Jeff Alm, who is a football player who had just a wild ending to his life and career and everything else. It's crazy. Then for Small Town Murder, we're going to talk about people who marry prisoners, people who marry serial killers, people who are looking for prisoner companions, all of that stuff, because we talk about love after lockup. We do prisoner dating game, get into the psychology, and it's fascinating. And on top of all of that, from now on, included in your $5 a month Patreon subscription, and you can give more if you'd like, if you think it's appropriate.
It's up to you.
And included in that is ad-free episodes of all three shows that we put out. Yeah. Small Town Murder, Crime and Sports, and Your Stupid Opinions will all be ad-free on Patreon. So for $5 a month, you get everything ad-free and bonus material. What more can we give you for $5? I mean, honestly, that's...
I don't know, man.
You can't get a Big Mac for $5. You know what I'm saying? So this is a lot, I think. So there you go.
Are they
do that.
$6.99 now? They are.
I don't know, $5.99 or something like that. Patreon.com/CrimeInSports is where that all is. Right. Please do that. And you get a shout out at the end of the regular show, too, as if the rest of it wasn't enough. But we'll get that also. Jimmy will mess your name up. So that said, I think it's time.
Oh, you bet.
Let's do this. I think it's time to sit back. What do you say here? Let's clear the lungs. Arms to the sky. Let's all shout. Shut up and give me murder. Let's do this, everybody. Let's go on a trip, shall we? All right, let's do this. We are heading down to Kentucky. We are going to Cadiz, Kentucky. Cadiz.
Cadiz?
Okay, I'll give you one guess on how to spell Cadiz, Kentucky.
Is it K-A-Y?
No. No, wrong right away. One more guess.
C-A-E.
Nope, wrong. Okay. Nope.
Yeah.
C-A-D-I-Z. Cadiz. If I gave you how many tries?
That's not even English.
That's what I mean. How many tries? It's from a Spanish word. So there you go. Which is what you think of when you think of Kentucky. Spanish words. So it's in
the best Spanish food in the country.
Southwestern Kentucky. Yeah. This is in southwestern Kentucky, down in there. It's about an hour and a half to Nashville, almost 3 hours to Louisville here. It's in Trigg County. Trigg with 2 G's. Double G Trigg. Area code 270. Only 2,583 people here. So not a big town at all.
Teeny tiny, yeah.
Small, big like properties, a lot of farms, that sort of. They're big into hogs down here, pigs. It is.
Hog
this
country.
This is where the ham comes from here, I'll tell you. Median household income here, $37,805, well below the national average. It's usually about $69,000. Median home cost here, though, this is real low, $106,000.
Wow.
Median. Median. That's extremely low. The town motto here, a little town with a big heart. Oh, yeah, of course. A little bit of history here. Apparently, there is a 1884 book called History of Trigg County that does not explain the origin of the Spanish name of the town, which is not helpful. That's
from the 1800s. They don't explain it.
No. It just happened, and they still didn't explain it. If you are writing that book, chapter 1 is why the hell is this town called Cadiz?
The
That's
fuck
chapter
does this
1.
mean?
I don't want anything else about it. Exactly. So it's real weird. In 1820, the Trigg County decided to use this land, it wasn't even a town yet, as a site of the county seat. And so they platted out the town in blocks and named it Cadiz. They think, here's the legend. A place called Kentucky Place Names, which is a book called Kentucky Place Names, repeats a local tradition that a Spaniard in the surveying party of the town suggested his hometown of Cadiz, Spain, I guess. And they said, sure, good enough.
So he loved it, yeah.
And no one could come up with anything better.
Times, may as well. Yeah.
No one could come up with a better option than that.
Nobody's getting it.
They do say it was definitely not named for the city in Ohio, because apparently there's a city in Ohio with the same spelling. Yes, but this name does not take the Spanish pronunciation, which I think the Ohio town uses the Spanish enunciation. So it became a trading and shipping center. Lots of ham, pumping the ham out all over the place. Yep. Reviews of this town. Here we go. 5 stars. While I'm not a big fan of small towns, what the hell are you here for? This one has been, this one has been very charming to me. The people that live in this area are very kind and welcoming. So they've turned somebody who didn't even want to like it here into liking it here. They Doc Hollywooded a guy. They Doc Hollywooded him. He didn't want to leave. They tried to pay, they're paying him in pigs.
They got a straight to go gay.
Staying.
It's great.
That's it. That's what you got to do.
Yeah.
5 stars. I love my small town and have lived here my entire life. It is a small rural community where everyone knows everyone. I think we kind of got that just from the everything else. 2 stars. Gosh is how we start this out. Gosh, we have a lot of vacant property and houses that have been on the market for some time. That's all. It's a whole review.
You got nobody to buy it.
Ain't nobody buying. 1 star finally. Everyone states it's a small town. No, it is not. There's 2,000 people here. I'd hate to see you in an actual big
small.
Yeah, let's put you in a big city. Your head would explode if you think this is not a small town. There's so much traffic and speeding. Last place I lived was a major city, and the traffic here is worse. No one controls them, so people do what they want. If you say anything, they tell you to ... don't have to finish that, or they gun their trucks by you. That's adult, right? So it sounds like it's like a town full of like angry 9-year-olds who have trucks. That's the way this person's describing. Park has tree limbs.
You're in the middle of nowhere. How much traffic could there...
That's what I mean.
How much traffic could there possibly be?
Park has tree limbs and dog crap everywhere. Well, when the dogs are crapping everywhere, that's a problem. If you're looking for peace and quiet, then don't come here. 2,500 people. I think you're out of your mind. Okay, things to do here very quickly. The Trigg County Ham Festival. Everybody.
A festival around ham.
A festival of ham. Yes. We have a horse show, the Miss Trigg County pageant. This is the county seat. There's only 2,500 people. So there's probably like 6,000 women in the whole entire county. So you can invite them all. They have that. Then there's the Mrs. Trigg County pageant. That's for all you married ladies out there. Yeah. Then there's Master and Miss Ham Festival pageant. So, whoever is the king and queen.
Master Ham?
Master. The Ham Master.
Not Mister.
No, Master and Miss Ham Festival pageant. That's a thing that happens. There's a quilt show.
I don't like that.
A special photo display of Miss Triggy Piggy. I don't know who that is, but Miss Triggy Piggy. We got a warship performance by Jason and McKenna Fisher. We got Reunited, some band. A Hamtastic raffle drawing. That's good. The Tim Lynch band will be there. Yeah, Hamtastic. Sorry to roll over you there, but Hamtastic.
This place is unbelievable.
This is wild. The Tim Lynch band will be there.
Yeah.
Kaylee Green. Then they'll be baking Kentucky's largest ham biscuit.
What the fuck is a biscuit?
I don't know. Witness a biscuit so large that a forklift has to place it in the largest oven you've ever seen. Then they all eat the biscuit. That's part of it. I don't know if you have to jerk off on it first or not, if it's like that sort of thing. But then they all eat the biscuit.
Ookie cookie. Yeah. Is it like an actual biscuit that has ham stuffed in it, or is it?
I think so.
Where's the biscuit on a pig?
Yeah, this is the biscuit section. I think it's a giant biscuit ham, and then there's a ham and biscuit eating contest too.
Okay, cut off.
It says root for your favorite local celebrity contestant. Who the hell are celebrities in this town? The guy on the morning radio
Tim
that does the
Lynch.
farm report? Yeah. Pedal tractor pulls.
Triggy.
Piggy Triggy. A mullet contest. Of
Yes.
course. And then
Right, they're embracing it.
a beard contest as well. And following it all up with a hog calling contest.
Of course.
As well. And then
Suey.
and then a Charlie Daniels legacy band will close it all out.
What?
Yep.
Take it easy.
Yeah, he's
not a good man.
It's a wild time.
Legacy him.
We're all going to tribute. Don't worry about it while we eat ham and biscuits. That said, let's talk about some murder, shall we? Murder that does not take place.
This hillbilly shit is awesome.
Death that does not take place from clogged ham arteries. That's what we're going to talk about now. It's a little better. All right, let's go to 2014. So not too long ago. Everything's exactly the same. iPhone, Instagram, it's all the same. Okay.
Sure.
The Champion family, just like Champion. That's what we're going to talk about.
Is.
Okay. Let's talk first about Boyd Lindsay Champion. That's a great name. Boyd Champion. Yeah. Sounds like a race car driver who wins all the time. Boyd
Not
Champion.
Bad. Yeah.
He goes by Lindsay, though, which is...
Why?
I don't know. Boyd Lindsay goes by Boyd Champion. Sounds awesome. That dude sounds badass. Lindsay Champion. I didn't know if it was a man or a woman for a minute. I was like, what was this?
And how old is he?
He was born in 1952.
So the guy's got to know all about
back then.
Yeah, all about hot rods and shit. Boyd's makes all kinds of cool shit for hot rods.
He's very much into motorcycles that we'll talk about, but he's also like a pastor and all that kind of thing. He's not like a biker guy. He's
Lindsay,
like, Lindsay. Right. So the family moved to a farm in West Kentucky in the late 50s when he was a young boy.
Yeah.
I graduated in 1970 from Trigg County High School, and then graduated in 74 from Western Kentucky University with a degree in mathematics and business finance, which is what both of our degrees are in, obviously. Clearly.
I'm impressed,
He meets his wife, a future wife, when she is still in high school in 1972. So he's 2 years older than her, no big deal. Sure. Her name is Joy Allen, and she's born in Trigg County, born and raised, born in 1954. Yeah. Her dad's name is Happy. That's how cool she is.
That's nice.
Happy.
Like Gilmore.
Happy.
Yeah.
That's right. So she graduated in 72 from Trigg County High School and then graduated from Murray State University in 1976 with a degree in elementary education. Yeah. So these two, even though they get married, they still both finish college and do all of that. So they're both educated, kind of upstanding people. That's the way you'd put it. These are people that you'd see and go, oh boy, they don't do a lot of kinky shit in the bedroom, I bet, is what you'd say. I bet they're pretty they're pretty vanilla, but vanilla. Dependable, you know what I mean? Very dependable. So she becomes a school teacher, an elementary school teacher, Joy does, and everyone says she loved her students, wonderful teacher. She teaches for the next 30 years and just loves it.
Sure.
Lindsay is going to work his way up to the director of a farmers credit union. So what he does, he's obviously doing, it's a bank of farmers. So like he's giving loans so people can buy more land and, enhance their farms and all that kind of shit. That's kind of his job here. He was awarded the Friend of Agriculture Award at the Trigg County Agricultural Appreciation Dinner in 2013. So they appreciate him, boy. He's giving out all the loans here. Now, they try to have a family. He's
winning, yeah.
Yeah. They try to have a family, and apparently Joy suffers a series of miscarriages. And they also apparently have a son eventually, but he apparently named Austin, who apparently dies in infancy, like very soon after being born. I don't know if he was born with problems or what the deal is, but they don't like to talk about it. They keep it under wraps. It's that kind of thing. So they can't have a child, even though they try and try. So in 1978 here, in like December of 78, they decide to adopt a child. They're two people, all they want's a family, and they can't have one. So go out and adopt a child, which is great. Good for them. I mean, that's an essentially unwanted child that you're going to take into a loving home.
Incredibly impressive. Yeah.
Good for you. So Ryan is the son they adopt. Now, Ryan, and they give him the middle name of Lindsay after
because it's
Dad.
Dad's shit,
So he's born in September 78, so he wasn't even 4 months old when they adopted him.
Kidding.
So he's a real young kid. And then, so they expect that Ryan's going to be their only kid. And they have a farm and all this stuff. And then on April 19th of 1983, Joy ends up giving birth to a girl at age 40, too.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Joy is 40 years old, and she's never had any success carrying before this, but now all of a sudden it works.
She's got one.
So they give birth to a young girl named Emily. Emily Catherine, they name her.
Okay.
Now, Emily is the family's pride and joy. The family does not treat the children any different, by the way. They treat Ryan just like he's one of theirs. It's not like, okay, get out of here, adoptee. Go on. We're loving our real child right now. You got to back up. None of that shit, which is nice,
Sure.
That's good. But she is really a smart kid, a focused kid, an obedient kid, totally different. Ryan's a little more, I don't know, he's a little more, when they're young, you'd go, okay, that's how young girls are, and that's how young boys are. He's rambunctious and doesn't want to do shit, and she's a little more buckled down. That's kind of how they are for a while. I had a boy and a girl, and that's how they both kind of were. Yeah. I'm sure it's not everybody, but that's how it is. So
it's pretty common,
her aunt said that Emily knew from an early age what she wanted to do, and she set her sail, and she accomplished what she wanted to do. She graduated from Trigg County High School in 2001, graduated in 2008 from Auburn University with a doctorate degree in veterinary medicine.
She's a vet.
She's a vet. She decided how many little girls, especially in like the, in the 80s, said, I want to be a vet and ride horses. That's every little girl said that. I want to be a veterinarian. I want to ride horses. I want to be a horse veterinarian.
Sure. Yeah.
She became a horse veterinarian, literally. She fulfilled like every 10-year-old girl's dream here. So she does that.
Wow.
Yeah. She specializes in equine medicine. She worked at the Barone Veterinary Clinic in Sunset, Louisiana. She had her base was at Delta Downs Racetrack in Vinton, where she would care for thoroughbred and quarter horses. So that's how good of a vet she is, too. She's being trusted with racehorses, which are, expensive investments. It's not just, my little girl's pony. This is some shit I bought for $500,000. Fix it. You know what I mean? So she's very much into animal stuff. Ryan, on the other hand, very jealous of Emily. Very jealous.
Really?
And now I don't know if that, because he always knows he's adopted. They don't do like the thing where they don't tell him for a while. They tell him from the beginning. Very positive, but then we don't know if that's part of it, if he thinks like, oh, you love Emily more because she's really yours, or what.
If he's feeling slighted, he might say that or feel that way, but...
jealous. He's very jealous of Emily.
He's got to be jealous, yeah.
And a lot of it is Emily accomplishes things and people are proud of her, and Ryan doesn't accomplish things, and no one's really proud of him for not accomplishing anything,
Well,
so that's the problem.
Ryan.
That's
I'm sorry,
the issue.
she's so good.
He does, and everyone said he doesn't apply himself the way she does. It's just not how it works. So
she's just good at shit.
She's good at shit. Everyone said he's just as smart as Emily. No one ever said, oh, well, he's the dumb one.
Yeah.
They said he's just as smart. He just doesn't apply himself, which,
just lazy.
I mean, could be a lot of us can be described like that. Yeah. So
it's okay, Ryan.
Ryan is just, well, maybe not. We'll see. He drifts, Ryan. He tries to figure out life. Okay. Not like on the street with his thumb out or anything. He's not the hitcher, but you know what I mean. He joins the army when he's like 25, which is real late for joining the army. Yeah.
Ryan.
That's a real late time for joining the army. Makes no sense, although that would have been right after 9/11. So a lot of people did join up after 9/11. Yeah. So that might be a reason why.
Yeah, sure.
And he serves almost 8 years before being discharged. So he does his time. He does 8 years is 2 stints, isn't it? I mean, it's usually 4 years.
You can re-enlist or extend your whatever, but it's basically 2
years.
Things. You can sign up for 8 though, I think.
Oh, okay. Well, there he is. He's in for 8.
Right out of
so
the gate. Yeah.
he moved. Ends up in his early 30s. He moves back to Western Kentucky to this area. So he's bouncing around. Has no real career. He does odd jobs. He does mainly construction work wherever he can get it because he knows how to do that. Which is, you can get work if you know construction. You can always get work, and that's kind of what he does. He struggles. He can't really figure out what's going on. Everybody else, I mean, his sister's a goddamn doctor, for Christ's sake, being trusted with $1 million racehorses, and this guy is probably being trusted with hot tar in a roof or something. You know what I mean? So it's
maybe a
little different.
A nail gun up there, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, that's maybe if he works for a few weeks and we can trust him with the hot mop, then we can give him a nail gun. So it's kind of tough. He drifts from job to job. Family and friends describe him as very generous, even to strangers. He's not a real like an angry guy or anything like that. He's just not real focused and not real, good at anything in particular.
Not driven. Yeah, he doesn't have any fucking skills that he likes.
No, and he feels like his whole family does well, and then he's garbage, basically, is what he feels like. So, and maybe being adopted too doesn't help. So there's just a lot of sibling rivalry. Yeah. But he also is very protective of Emily, and always, says how much he loves Emily, and how much that's his sister, and he's going to protect her and all that kind of thing. So as of 2014, Joy has now retired from teaching. She's been teaching she taught for over 30 years and then retired. She also served as an elder and a lay speaker and Sunday school teacher at the Cadiz Church of Christ, where both she and Lindsay were members, and Lindsay was also a pastor there. So, Lindsay worked for 38 years at the Farm Credit Services in Hopkinsville, and after retirement, he liked just hanging out on their small farm, tending to the animals. Everybody said hardworking, reliable guy. The guy, if he says it's getting done, he's going to do it, period. That's it. He's an elder at the church. Everyone describes him as having a dry sense of humor, which I don't know what that means in terms of a real kind of a... He has a fun side. Like he likes to ride Harleys and shit. You know what I mean? So he has a fun side. He has an adventurous side.
Yeah.
So he's not all buttoned up. But now Emily had recently accepted a new position that she is set to begin in November 2014. This is about October 2014. She finds that out, which is another step forward in her career. She's very excited. Her colleague, when she left her current job, Dr. Joshua Hill wrote, "Honored to have worked with you. Your passion for your work and patience was evident." So there you go. Her interests are in equine reproduction, sports medicine, and preventative care. And Emily has a Weimaraner named Skylar that's always there with her as well. Obviously, she's a
Hell
vet.
yeah.
She's going to like dogs. And she, in 2014, toward the end of it here, she just ran a marathon locally as well. So Emily's an achiever.
Wow.
She did more that
it.
weekend than I've done in 20 years. Like, she really is achieving, this lady. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That weekend sounds exhausting. I would need like a 3-year window mapped out for that to get all that done.
I need a couple of weeks to recover from that one.
Yeah. And running the marathon would be like every 3 weeks I'd run a portion of it. I'm not running it like all at once. That's crazy.
Go.
Fucking no.
Not doing them in a row.
No. 26 miles. Yeah, not in a row. That's crazy. No, I would spread them out.
Yeah.
So in October of 2014 is when she does her marathon, and she comes home to Cadiz to visit her family for the weekend before she starts her new job. So she's hanging out, and, she's got to change locations, but she's happy and excited about this job. This weekend on October 24th is the Saturday of 2014. That's the Saturday of the weekend here. This day here, she's visiting, and the family plans to have a nice, quiet Sunday dinner together. Joy has been making soup all day on October 24th. She's got all day cooking on this soup in a slow cooker.
Soup. Yeah.
Yep, it's a Sunday. They're going to church. They got soup on the slow cooker. They get home and they're going to have soup later on. Ryan is also at home, so it's a family weekend, which is nice for the parents, because with 2 adult kids in their 30s, they probably don't get everyone at home very often for a whole weekend. That probably feels nice to have everybody home. And then it gets not so nice. Okay.
Oh
no. October 24th, 2014. This is a 911 call from Lisa Champion, who is Lindsay's sister and who lives across the street from them. These are big properties, by the way. Yeah. Houses set way back from the road. So it's not like, across the street you can throw a baseball from one house to the next. It's not like that at all. So now Lisa Champion calls 911. And here's part of the transcript of 911. What's your emergency? Lisa says, my nephew Ryan, meaning Ryan Champion, who we've talked about, just came to my door, and his wrists have been tied with duct tape, and I haven't been able to find out what's wrong. Yeah, that's a problem. He doesn't appear to be injured, but I don't know what's happening. So 911 says, do we need an ambulance? And Lisa says to Ryan on the phone, where would I be sending it to? What's going on? He just showed up and said, call 911 with his wrist tape. She was like, okay, picked up the phone, called 911. She doesn't even know why. She doesn't even know what's going on. So Ryan says right across the road, and the dispatcher says, okay. And that's how it goes. Now, Lisa says she was in her recliner in her home around 11 a.m. that morning when she heard gunshots.
Oh, gunshots.
Yeah, so she said it's not unusual to hear gunshots in the distance because it's very rural and people are out shooting all the time.
Yep.
But these sounded particularly closer than they usually sound. So then within minutes, she said that's when she heard someone yelling her name at the front door, and it was Ryan. So she came to the door. She sees Ryan with duct tape wrapped around his wrists, and he looks horrified, and he's holding a gun. Not like pointing it at her, but he's got a gun in his hand.
Holding it down his side, yeah.
Yeah, he's got it with his hands taped. So he said he needs, I need help and get an ambulance for my parents and sister, he says.
Yeah.
So Lisa told the dispatcher she's going to go check on her brother and sister-in-law and niece, and then she hung up the phone. Okay. So, yeah, that's what happened. Ryan told her about that. Lisa said, I'm going to go check on them, and he told his aunt that while she was leaving, he said, I know the guy that did this. Ryan's telling his Aunt Lisa. So police arrive, and let's find out what happened in the house here. Yeah. This is Sheriff Ray Burnham says it was probably the worst crime scene I've seen in almost 20 years of doing this.
This is his crime scene.
This is not good.
The one that sticks with him.
Yep, he said about Emily, the way her body was found was particularly disturbing. I'll never, ever forget that.
Why?
So when they arrived, they're just met with a scene of just carnage and blood, and it's just it's a horror show in here. Yeah. And they said there's 4 dead bodies in this house right now.
Yeah.
You might go 1, 2, 3.
Right. Why is
Lindsay,
there a fourth? Yeah.
Lindsay, Joy, Emily. Well, who's the fourth? We'll find out about that. But throughout all of this, they're in here. There's, you can smell blood, and you can.
Yeah.
It's not good. Throughout the whole thing, you don't smell anything but soup because the soup is still cooking on the slow cooker.
Must be French onion.
It's got to be. Well, it could be a potato soup. It could be anything, really. It's
Would
going to
potato
smell.
be that strong? It just has to have some garlic and seasoning in there.
If you're cooking a soup all day, it's all you're going to smell in a
I guess
house.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Sometimes a stew will do it.
they're sitting there processing a crime. They can't take the soup off at this point.
Right.
They got to keep everything. I mean, even if a TV's on, you got to leave it on. It's the crime scene. Don't fuck with anything. So they are processing a crime scene and doing all this with the aroma of slowly boiling soup kind of malingering or all over the place there.
Just
not really malingering. Lingering, not malingering. But
just soup faking it all over the place.
All over the place. So Lindsay, the dad, was found near the back of the house, and he has a gunshot wound to the back of the head. Now, Joy, mom, is down in the basement, which is interesting, and she's also been shot in the head. Multiple times she's been shot. Emily was dead on the main floor near the dining room table, also shot. And then they find the 4th body. They're like, who the fuck is this guy?
And who? Yeah.
His name is Vito Riservato.
What's this? What's this I
This is
tie
gonna
doing
say,
around here?
What the Vito? We don't belong here. What are you doing?
Yeah.
This is not.
He heard there was some pasta fagioli. What do you
He's
want?
like, hey, I thought I smelled some pasta fagioli cooking in the fucking. What are you slow cooking it all day? I come over. I'll bring some bread and dip. You got to sop it up.
No,
you
it's
know
a
what I mean?
potato soup. Malingering, trying to be chilly over here.
It's pretending it's chili. This fucking soup over here. So Vito here, a little bit about. He's only 22, by the way.
Oh, he's a young man.
So which is odd, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's a
Very young to be
graduate
going
of
by Vito.
Vito. It's his name. What do you want him to go by? Fuck are you talking about?
Never met a Vito under 48.
It's because you live in Arizona and don't know any Italian people but me.
I don't know any Italian people. The only Italian people I know are in,
There's a lot of us named
Godfather and Sopranos.
I know fucking 8-year-olds named Vito, so this is nothing. The best is an 8-year-old named Sal. You're like, Sal?
An 8-year-old named Vito.
I know him. An 8-year-old named Sal is even better, though. Sal's a guy that can get you a good deal on something that fell off a truck. Not an 8-year-old. Vito and Sal.
Yeah.
I know
8-year-old
people
named Vito is ordering other friends to put gum in somebody's armpit.
Yeah. Go put sugar in that teacher's gas tank, would you? He told me to take my gum out of my mouth this morning. So Vito graduated from Hopkinsville High School in 2010, and he has a 1-year-old boy as well named Adrian.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he's unemployed, struggling financially, and it's said that he met Ryan through some kind of construction work here.
Yeah.
So he is found dead in the kitchen as well, lying on his back with a gunshot wound to his face, shot right in the face.
Jesus.
His vehicle, though, is not at the house.
Really?
They find his vehicle 200 yards down the road, which that's 2 football fields. That's enough distance to parking away from the house on purpose. No one would park 200 yards away to walk to a property. So as they're processing the scene, they keep commenting on the soup. All you can smell is soup, they said, which is probably more pleasant than most murder scenes smell.
Likely, yeah.
Most murder scenes are gross.
Right. This feels down home around here.
But they said it was eerie and just macabre to have this weird, and you could hear it bubbling, and just to have this soup permeating the house was very, very strange. They said that's what stuck with everybody, is they could always recall that crime scene by the smell of the soup. They're like, you could it's just stuck in your head. So it's real crazy. Now, Dad, Boyd Lindsay, died from a gunshot wound to his back, while Joy was shot in the head. They were both shot with a .45 caliber firearm. Everybody was shot with a .45.
Oh, my.
It's a big one. Yeah. Vito, too, shot right in the face with a .45 at close range.
And that means that, his face has a bullet hole in it, but the back of his head is fucking gone.
Yeah.
It's gone.
That's why it's a messy crime scene, because there is
That's a crazy
skull everywhere.
Weapon. Yeah. At close range is not good.
No. So Ryan is the only one left surviving. Duct tape, gun in his hand. So what the fuck happened here? You know what I mean? This is a mystery. So he says, basically, he's a survivor of a home invasion. That's what he said. Yeah. He said, this guy came in, this guy Vito, I barely know him. He burst in the door. He's obsessed with Emily. He's obsessed with her. And I tried to tell him to leave Emily alone, but he wouldn't leave her alone. So he said that he had gone to his parents' house that weekend specifically to teach Emily how to load and shoot a gun so she could defend herself from Vito.
Okay.
Because he'd been making unwanted advances and kind of stalking her, he says.
Good brother.
So he said that he was sitting at the dining room table with his sister, and Vito burst through the front door uninvited. Just came right in. They don't lock their doors. It's rural Kentucky. They just got off at church on a Sunday afternoon. So Ryan said that Vito bound Ryan's wrists with dollar store duct tape, which is kind of insulting.
Yeah, and it's
Buy
also
the Duct brand if you're going to fucking tie me up. Come on.
It is very. It's interesting that's the that's a
You're
sticking
going to trust
point
that?
Too. Yeah, that we're talking. It's fascinating. We know that.
Yeah, he said he saw it was dollar store duct. By the way, are you going to trust dollar store duct tape with your home invasion? I'm not. No, that's not good.
I want something the professionals use.
So he said he burst in, dollar store duct taped Ryan's wrists up, and then started coming on to Emily. But not like saying, I'm going to, put it in you, but flirting with her. Like, now that he's tied up, how you doing, baby? You know what I mean? Like, thinking she was going to be like, yeah, let's blow this stinking town and get out of here.
I really like the way you do your hair today.
Oh, man. So then Vito heard the parents come home from church.
Okay.
So they just came home from church, and that's when things got crazy, Ryan said. He said that at that point, he bound Emily as well and held them both at gunpoint. So he's got them both duct taped and gun pointed here. And he said when Lindsay and Joy returned from church, Vito went outside, and that's when Ryan heard gunshots, he said. They were outside, and he heard gunshots. So he got them before they even came in the house and then brought them in the house. Then he said Vito came back inside in a violent craze, obviously, and shot Emily as well.
What?
And killed her. Then Ryan said Vito had to reload his weapon. So Ryan says the pause in Vito reloading his weapon, Ryan managed to jump up and tackle him and overpower him and pull wrists duct tape together in the front.
Yeah.
Managed to overpower him, get the gun away from him, and shoot him in the face.
Wow.
That's quite the fucking tale.
Ryan's a hero.
That's quite the goddamn. I mean, that's insane. That's incredible. Because he's reloading. He's coming for you, obviously.
Right.
Next, not going to be like, all right, take it easy. I'm going to go rob a gas station. He's going to clean it up.
What a fascinating order of murders, though. That they chose to. He shot her when he was in. You know what I mean? He was just flirting with her a sec ago.
Yeah. And it makes no sense, too, because she's probably, out of him and Ryan, she's probably the less threatening of the two than a construction worker who was in the Army for 8 years. He's probably, in a fight, he's like 6'1", 175 pounds. He's probably more of a formidable fighter, so I would think you'd want to shoot him first, but I don't know.
Sure, but if you show up to and she's like what you want out of
she's
here.
She's the target.
You think that's the target, the person to kill?
That's I wonder if that's the target of his rage because of,
maybe so. Yeah.
So it's strange. And Ryan tells reporters right after and police that Vito was a new person to all of us. Mm-hmm. He said he became dangerously obsessed with Emily after Ryan had brought him to the family home just a couple days earlier. And shortly after that, he tells the news, quote, he got close enough to me that I could turn the tables, and that was it. Yeah. He uses the phrase "turn the tables" in everything he talks about, to the cops, to the press. I was able to turn the tables. I was able to turn the tables. So He said, and that was it. Every minute the entire thing was going on, that's all I was waiting for. I was waiting for an opportunity, he said.
Had to turn the table, see?
Had to turn the table. So in the following days, he's doing all sorts of interviews.
Really?
He's posting tons of shit on Facebook, too. He posts on Facebook really weird posts that, like, the next day that, like, updates about, you know, how he is physically and mentioning that, you know, he needs money for bills and gas and he could use a job right now. Really needs a job. But
or a Venmo or something, yeah.
It's like 24 hours after his, you know, whole family's been murdered, and he's like, anybody got a job for me? Like, that's a little
using
weird.
This as like monster.com.
Yeah, to bump his post up to the top of LinkedIn or some shit. I don't know. So I don't know how LinkedIn works because I don't ever have an office job.
He's using a ZipRecruiter.
I don't know. We only know that because we did commercials for them. So
yeah.
So that's a little bit odd. They also said he seemed very eager to give interviews as well. He appeared on multiple media outlets and all sorts of interviews. Here's an excerpt from a 15-minute long interview where he's just, this is like 2 days later. He's cool as shit while he does this, by the way. So maybe the Army made him stoic. Yeah, I'm not sure. So they said, I guess the first question in all this, I mean, it's been a horrific 24 hours. This is the next day. How are you personally holding up? You seem remarkably composed. Ryan said, well, I've got one of those mentalities to just soldier through something. Really, that's what's been carrying me through this, is that things need to be done, especially, you know, some people aren't doing so well. And to be honest, I don't really know yet how to feel about any of it. I was kind of at a crossroads of being glad to be out of there, but at the same time, it was just horrible. And it never really set in, until I'd say it took a really good hour to sink in. Which an hour is not a very long time.
Your whole family's dead.
And he's like, man, it was a long hour there where I had a little lost for about an hour there. You know, but one episode of The Sopranos, I was back on board. It was fine. I was in. Right? That seems very silly. So the question says the police have been releasing quite a few details. You know, your sister was there, you were there, and your parents were not there at first. They came home. Without giving away anything that would impede the investigation, I mean, set the scene. You and her were there. And he said, well, I think that nudges into one of the things that I've been instructed not yet to talk about. And then next question, they named this person today. We have the picture, we have the name. I understand he was doing some work for the family. What was he doing? That's Vito. Ryan says, well, I'm not sure I'm cleared to release that yet, but he was a new person to all of us. His relationship to us was only a couple of days old, but I don't think I can go into any more detail than that. So they said, okay, I know that the part that people are going to be very curious about is the part you really can't talk about, your interaction with him. I mean, at some point, were you worried you were not going to survive as well, just like your parents and sister? I would fucking think so. He said, very much so, very much so. The whole experience was confusing. Without going into any details, I can say that from the start of when everything bad happened, my nerves were shot almost straight from the beginning in a split second. But I was constantly trying to zone in on if I could do something. I was always looking for an opportunity, but it was so confusing. I'd love to tell you more about the scenario, but it was a very confusing scene. And it was my impression through a lot of it that he was just, something wasn't right, that he acted erratically the entire time. And I could never pick a moment where I could stop anything. There are moments that play back in my head where in hindsight, I could have done something. Yeah. He's definitely from Kentucky. I could have done something. Yeah. But it was always a risk. It was always a huge risk. It wasn't a simple solution. I read in one news report that my hands were bound, so I guess I can say that. I mean, it's a tricky situation. There's not a lot that anybody could do. So the next question, without giving any details away, I read the same thing. I know you were bound. I know other family members were as well. What's going through your mind when you're sitting there knowing that this person person that you don't know so well is in your home carrying out an attack, and you have to figure out, when do I make my move to try to help others or survive?
Sure.
Ryan said it was always about helping others. I've always been, if it had just been me and him in the room, I wouldn't have been half as worried. My concern the whole time was that Emily's here too. If I goof something up, it's not just me, it's her. And for the time being, he wasn't actively threatening her life every second. He was being very strange about it. I don't think I can go into any more detail than that, but he was being very strange about it. But he was not acting in a way that constituted immediate physical harm. I don't know, being duct taped at the hands and having a .45 held to you is, I would take that as a threat of physical harm. No?
I would say so, yeah.
You know, that's just me. I might be a little bit of a worrywart, but, you know, it's... It seems like a lot here. So, yeah, he said that anyway, that immediate physical harm, and I just didn't want to agitate the situation. He was keeping a real good eye on me, and my concern was just for her the whole time. They said, going through it, did you think at some point it's going to be over? We're going to get out of this? And he said, yes, I really did, because he was acting so erratically, because it just seemed like he did have a single thought process, but he kept veering off to different things, and I kept thinking, this guy's just off his rocker, or something's, he's got a screw loose. And then when mom and dad pulled in, I know that they were at church and they came home, but then, there was a point where he had left me and Emily because mom and dad had drove up. He saw the truck and he said an expletive many times in a row and just ran out. And I thought, that's it. I thought that was it. He thought that he was going to run away because the parents came home.
Right.
He said, but I do think I do go into too much detail if I go further. But at that one point in time, yes, I thought we were in the clear. He'd been acting erratically the whole time, and then mom and dad came in, and I think he's going to see them, that they can call the cops, and he's going to book it for the hills. He's gone. And obviously that's not what happened. Okay, so they said, when you're witnessing what he's capable of doing and what he did, at some point, do you decide you're going to have to make your move to survive? And he said, when that happened, it was so quick, it wasn't much of a decision. It wasn't much of a decision at all. It happened so fast. I'm sure the details will be allowed to come out soon enough, but for now, everything was erratic and confusing. I wish I could give you some insight. And they said, well, it sounds like you were trying to protect your family, and that what you did what you had to do to stop the threat. That's what it sounds like. And he said, well, at the last point, after he made his last move, I was able to engage him. He made 2 mistakes. He got too close to me, and his gun had needed reloading, and his head was down, slapping home another thing, and I was able to, I can't go much further. Okay, I'm sorry. So they say, okay, I understand. It happened fast, but you hit the point where you knew you had to do something. And he said, I can't tell you how it felt at that point, because that was, once the mechanics started, that was it. Everything happened after that in microseconds that spread out forever. And they said, I know you went to the hospital to talk about your injuries. And he said, well, luckily I did not sustain serious injuries at all. What I was taken to the hospital for was some form of shock. I can't remember exactly what they said, but it was shock. I was very unnaturally dehydrated. My throat, kind of like it is now when I talk about it, just goes dry. I don't have spit. I couldn't cry tears. At one point, somebody had a water bottle in my hand, and my hand, like it is now, was shaking. But at one point, I couldn't even really lift the water bottle up with one hand. I had to two-hand the water bottle. Everything, my nerves were shot. I was shaking. But all that was about a good hour or so after everything happened, and things were starting to settle down and people were arriving. Once I sat down, my nerves were shot, and that's when I guess the shot caught on. The shot, I guess they gave him a shot to calm him down, some sort of sedative. They sent me in an ambulance, and they kept me there. They took me to the hospital, with IVs, and gave me a nausea medicine. That's about as bad as it got for me physically. And then they talk about his parents, and he said, almost everyone that knows me as Lindsay's son or mom's son. That's how they know me. They were all very well known. Mm-hmm. And he talks about how good of people his parents were, and they talk a little bit about how them wanting to help people is why this happened. He said that this guy, He was awkward at best when he talked to people, meaning Vito. Awkward at best. And he didn't make a very good impression of himself. He kind of came off as kind of had a vibe that would make old people uneasy a little bit. He's not, he's just kind of not had that way, and that factors into it. He came over, and he had come over a previous night, and he had said something about he ran out of gas. And I can't go into any more details than that, but I only said that to say this. He came over to their house. Mom was scared of seeing someone that late at night. Dad came to talk to him. And the guy had told my dad that he ran out of gas down the road. My dad went and got 5 gallons of gas and took it to his truck. He said they would help anybody. He said they didn't lock their doors. Their friends and family loved them. They'd help anybody.
Yeah.
So he's saying that. And so he said people have been calling him, and it's been nonstop floods of phone calls and Facebook messages.
Sure.
He said he had to turn his phone off. He's just trying to, it's only been a day. He's trying to get his shit together. So
it's not easy.
He keeps using the term turn the tables, though, over and over and over again. Wow. By the way, here is a reaction from one of Joy's students here. For 11 years, Joy and I, I'm sorry, not her student, her coworker, another teacher. Okay. For 11 years, Joy and I worked across the hall from each other. She was a very inspiring woman. I can tell you that. I really looked up to her, and as many of us did. And when I first got started teaching, she took me under her wing. She was like a second mother to me. Oh. And I only say that because that represents pretty much what everyone said about her. There's 50 different quotes that are exactly like that. So the cops are trying to figure out the order of events and what happened here. How do you piece this together?
Well, you got a witness. That's helpful.
Well, they said, though, his story seems real weird. They're like
it does, right?
It's real strange. And they said the physical evidence at the scene doesn't really match up with all this.
Okay.
It doesn't match up with what he said. So they started doing really close, paying attention to every little scrutinizing detail, or scrutinizing every detail. One of the investigators said Ryan's contention was that he had to fight Vito for the handgun. And he was so unbelievable that he said when Vito ran past him to shoot Emily, Vito looked at Ryan and said, "Excuse me." And then went and shot his sister, which is a real weird thing to do.
And then came back and was going to kill him, but he needed more ammo.
Excuse me. Yeah. I'll be back to kill you in a moment. One moment,
right,
please. Jesus, don't be rude. I have a place to be here. I got to kill this girl. So based on the number of live rounds and the number of gunshot wounds found at the scene, they determined that Vito would have had to reload his weapon well earlier than Ryan claimed.
Oh.
He couldn't have shot everybody and then reloaded, like Ryan said, because Ryan said everyone else is dead, and then he ran out of bullets for Ryan, so he went to reload.
Too many rounds have been evacuated.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So he would have had to reload earlier than that. Now, also, they talked to Vito's roommates. One of his roommates said that he'd recently lost his job and was desperate for money. And also, his roommate, Ariel Lower, said that he recently lost his job. And she said, quote, "He told us that somebody had told him that he would pay a certain amount of money, like an extreme amount of money, to kill somebody.
Oh.
I told Vito he was crazy if he did it."
Right.
So then investigators also found out that Ryan seems to know Vito a lot more than him coming to the house one day.
Really?
Yes. They find, as a matter of fact, extensive phone records showing communication between Ryan, Vito, and a third party.
Who's that?
A 41-year-old woman named Ann Plotkin, Plotkin. She's from Hopkinsville. She's described as Ryan's longtime girlfriend and friend. Okay. Sometimes girlfriend, sometimes friend.
Okay.
So all three individuals had been talking for weeks leading up to the murder. Apparently, Ryan had briefly hired Vito for a tiling job, though that didn't last long. But he told the cops that then after the cops said, we found out you know him more, he said, well, yeah, I fired Vito after he made unwanted romantic advances toward Emily. That's the whole point.
Okay. Yeah.
It's all about Emily and him. Then they found surveillance footage from a local restaurant showing all three meeting together the day before the murders.
What?
Vito, Ann, and Ryan.
Uh-huh.
That is very interesting. Now, And they find out Ann Plotkin is far more than she says she is. Phone records and all this evidence shows that she's the go-between facilitating communication between Ryan and Vito.
Okay.
So, anyway, they have a memorial for Vito. His roommates have a memorial for him.
Yeah.
Big old memorial. And they say he was a funny guy who loved a good prank.
Love that.
And had a fondness for random late-night trips to Walmart. Oh, who doesn't?
I mean, okay.
I used to do that back in the day. I'd go there and look through the $5 DVD bin at like fucking, 20 years ago.
When there's nobody grabbing shit around.
There's no kids with their little booger hands reaching in there grabbing for fucking whatever.
Did that all day long, right?
Yeah. Hopefully the boogers are either cleaned off. There's no fresh ones anyway. They're hardened by now.
Right. They're either cleaned off or they're at the bottom.
Yeah. So October 31st, 2014, 2 days before the funeral, by the way, Halloween night, they arrest Ryan.
Yeah. Really?
They charge him with 4 counts of capital murder and 1 count of kidnapping.
What's the
This is
they
crazy.
Find?
Okay.
Yeah.
The kidnapping charge, by the way, is related to Emily being bound with duct tape during the attack.
Yeah. Yep.
So, Ryan, this is insane. This fucking idiot hired Vito to kill his family, but then didn't want to pay Vito, so he killed Vito.
What?
Yes. That's what happened.
He Dark Knight Jokered him?
I don't know what that means because I hate Batman bullshit. I'm an adult man, not a fucking child. So I hate that shit, but I don't get that. Don't care about Dark Knight. It's awful. I hate Heath Ledger. It all sucks. Those chase scenes don't line up editing-wise or not linear. I don't want to hear it. Fuck Christopher Nolan.
It makes
all
all the sense. But so at the very beginning of it, he hires a bunch of people to be clowns, and they just kill each other after they finish jobs.
That makes sense. But he hired this guy to kill the family, then was like, all right, then, kill you too.
Good night.
Which is the dumbest thing because the weirdest part of this whole thing is some dead stranger in the house. That's the whole thing that makes it weird.
No, it ruins the whole thing, man.
That's why would you have to be there? That's why he had to be there to shoot. If he just was not selfish and wanted to pay the guy, he could have not been home, had Vito kill everyone, then paid him, and that would be that. But instead,
is it a little bit racist too that he hired an Italian?
Well, I mean, we have skills that sometimes they need to be used.
Some
I
people
guess.
you hire. That's what he did.
So, talk about a mess. This is like a Coen Brothers movie. This is ridiculous. Yeah. Like, this is silly. Turned on the hitman and did it himself, which is crazy. So they said it wasn't, the prosecutor said it wasn't a murder for hire, or if it was a murder for hire, he would have gotten paid. But it didn't end up that way. He got murdered.
Wow.
So Vito, not an innocent guy at all. Vito did kill the first few. He killed the first 3. Yeah. And then Ryan killed him.
Everybody.
Yeah, because that was the plan is you tie us all up, you kill those 3, and then make an escape, and I'll make some shit up. And instead, Ryan was like, I'll just shoot you. And I'll look.
Wow, that's a
like
chicken shit way to kill your family.
Fuck yeah, it's the most chicken shit way to kill your family.
Most chicken shit, yeah.
You can't even trust him to pay his bills, for Christ's sake. You know what I mean? Like, he's just scum, this guy. They said that the family plot, this had been in the making for years, they found out. Ryan's been trying to figure out a way to kill his family. They said, quote, for 5 to 6 years before these murders happened, Ryan Champion approached another friend and offered him money to kill his family.
Ryan Champion is the worst person on the planet.
Sucks.
I think we found him.
He sucks. He reminds me of, do you remember that girl in Arkansas who killed her dad for no reason and then pretended? Right. He reminds me of her a lot.
She loved him.
Yeah, I just loved him. By the way, Ann Plotkin doesn't know the police know her involvement at this point, so she's talking to the media saying, it's ridiculous they would arrest Ryan. How dare they?
Man.
Yeah. She said anyone who knows Ryan and any of his close friends knows he's not capable of doing this, then said it was complete and total BS what they're saying about him. She went on 48 Hours Crime Insider, pointed the finger at Vito, and called him a violent, mentally ill ex-boyfriend of her daughter. That's his problem.
Oh, my God.
So on February 11, 2015, she's arrested too.
Yeah.
Which must have been real sweet to slap the cuffs on her too. Complicity to commit capital murder and resisting arrest too.
Wow.
So for fun. So they just needed time to put together all of the surveillance footage and all of the messaging and all of that stuff to connect her. They have a big memorial for the family. Obviously, they're very well loved. They had different setups for their thing. Like he had a little Harley set up with like his riding boots on there. Emily had all her horseback riding ribbons and all that kind of shit. 4-H livestock competitions. Nice. And, Joy had her horse saddle that she loved. So that's what they did.
Sure.
Now the prosecutors are we're going for the death penalty on Ryan. He's a real asshole.
Fuck yeah.
He sucks.
He's one of the worst people ever.
Yeah. They said heinous nature of the crimes, multiple victims, and just the calculated shittiness of it.
Such a scumbag.
You should really add in like failure to pay for services or something. Whatever, like if you ran out of a motel, whatever that charge is, or a taxi. You should get that, I think, on this.
Theft of services.
Theft of services, absolutely. That should also be included.
Absolutely.
So Ryan pleads not guilty. He claims his innocence. He tells a reporter, I know what happened. I know who was where and who did what. Their evidence is not as strong as they let everyone to believe. This is a good time to celebrate. This is the first chink in their armor. Okay. To celebrate. He then said, I really look forward to a time when I can get out of here, because he's being held on $5 million bail. He's not going anywhere. But I'm really looking forward to, either way, leaving all of this behind me and trying to dig back up a normal life and grieve for my family in a way that I've not yet been allowed to do.
Okay.
By the way, his lawyer quits.
Really?
His lawyer says he's an asshole. He cited a strained relationship with him. In other words, he's a dick.
He sucks.
He sucks. So the judge is like, what are we doing here? We can't have you have no lawyer. So what are we doing? And so I guess so they assigned him a court-appointed lawyer. And Ryan goes, well, I guess we just wasted 2 months, huh?
Yeah.
He's such a snot.
Yeah.
So then this goes on for a while because to change lawyers, he had to waive the speedy trial and all that. So now it stretches on for a couple of years. And about more than 2 years after the murders, in early 2017, Ryan Champion finally agrees to plead guilty to all charges against him.
Really?
Yep. Now all of a sudden, it's an exact Kohberger, like an exact Brian Kohberger.
Wow.
He pleads guilty to 4 counts of murder. Brian Kohberger pled guilty to 4 counts of murder, 1 count of kidnapping as well. And this is no appeals, life without parole. I mean, it's the exact Kohberger deal.
Fascinating.
Exact that he just got. Anne is also going to plead guilty to 3 counts of complicity to murder. Okay. And she is going to be sentenced to, you, ma'am, may fuck off 22 years in Anne.
Yeah.
No, Anne Plotkin. 22 years in prison for Anne.
Oh, shit. She got
a lot for making phone calls and shit. Now, January 2017 is Ryan's sentencing. Judy, who is Joy's sister, said, you murdered my family, Joy, my beloved sister and best friend, the only one in the world who understood me. I find some peace in knowing that she closed her beautiful eyes on evil, and when she opened them, she saw Jesus. She said, that part of a person that makes them human is missing from you. She said, you care about only yourself. You have no heart, no compassion, no soul. You are an empty shell. She then asked if he felt like a big man after he spent time with the family during an early Thanksgiving and they had for Emily. She said, you put on a real good show acting like you cared about everybody. She said that if he hadn't spent so much time hating them and being jealous of his sister's success, maybe he could have been something himself one of these days. And then said, what a waste. What a waste. Yeah. So
she beat him up.
She beat him up good. I mean, really kicked his ass. And Elisa, who is Lindsay's sister, who's the one who he came to her door, she just talks about being depressed and missing everybody. And Lisa said, what would you call someone that murdered your family? I just feel like that the devil just crawled up in his body and just took control of him. Devil done ass fucked him. And
devil got his ass.
Devil busted a load on in there, and there's a little devil seed just crawling out throughout his body like in a cartoon. You know how it goes, but that's
right in it.
He's just evil, pure evil.
Sure.
Wow. Lauren, who is Lindsay's brother, offered words of forgiveness, actually. He went the full Christian route there. So Ryan chooses not to speak before sentencing.
Real.
What a Scott. He's a pussy and a scumbag,
what a
right?
chicken shit. What a pussy.
But he had his attorney address the court on his behalf, wishing the family well and expressing hope. She expressed hope that Ryan might eventually develop compassion and empathy behind bars. The judge said he'll have plenty of time to do that. Sir, may fuck off. Life in prison without the possibility of parole.
Yeah, think about it and find that empathy forever.
Yep, and everybody involved says best case scenario. Because if you convict him, first of all, he never has to say he did it.
Right.
He'll say he'll always deny it, and it goes right to the end. And then so what? You convict him and he gets the death penalty. Okay, so now for the next 30 years, all these people have to keep coming to court for appeals over and over and over again, clemency board hearings, and it's going to cost the state $20 million. $20 million.
Much money. Yeah.
Or we just put him away and never think about him again, and he's done.
He gets no
air, he gets no oxygen, he gets no one ever doesn't get to put on a show, doesn't get to do anything. It's perfect. So the prosecutor said it was an awful case. There's nothing good that can be said about this case or the facts of it. So she said that the remaining family members sought closure and certainty with the plea agreement. She said there would have been no agreement if the plea was anything less than life without parole. Well, yeah, if there's any chance of him getting out, then you go take the shot. You know what I mean? Sure, even if the jury says no death penalty, they'll give him life without. So fine. So they said the Commonwealth would not have agreed to anything that could have resulted in Ryan Champion ever being free again, which is exactly what they said about Kohberger, too. They said life without, with no appeals and no nothing. How do you turn that down?
It's never getting a chance, right?
No. They said, we all know there's no penalty that can ever be great enough for Ryan Champion for what he did, for the pain and loss he caused. But for today's purposes, for the purpose of this case, knowing that he will be punished and incarcerated until the day he dies is justice.
That is justice.
Now, Ryan remains incarcerated at the Eastern Kentucky Correctional Complex in West Liberty in Morgan County. He's serving a life sentence without parole, and he's housed in minimum and medium security facilities.
Oh.
Apparently, he's good in jail. Yeah. He was in the Army, so he can do structured institutional things.
He'll do it.
Yeah, and he'll do it. Now, Anne in prison, after serving 4 years of her 22-year illness, she requested early medical release after being diagnosed with a terminal illness in prison. We never
4 years of her sentence, she got out. Okay, because of it.
Well, no. Okay. She requested her early release for a terminal illness she was given,
and they allowed it.
She went to the parole board on February 7th, 2019, and they turned her down.
Oh, nah!
And then she died the next day.
Oh,
wow! That is some serendipitous shit there. Now, Emily's classmates from Auburn University veterinary program established a scholarship in her memory, ensuring her passion for animal care would continue to inspire future veterinarians. This has been done on a few different, documentary type things. They did Investigation Discovery did, quote, Devil in Suburbia, No Son of Mine. Okay. Devil in Suburbia. So there you go. Yeah. There is Cade.
He was adopted, you guys.
Thank fuck he didn't come out of my vagina. Yeah. My uterus would never produce that, I'll tell you right now.
This adopted piece of shit did terrible things. It's not a good advertisement for adoption, that's for sure.
No, he is a bad advertisement for adoption. Yeah. Let's keep this one away from the, if there's an adoption agency with newspapers laying out or something, they're going to put those under a magazine. No. So there you go, everybody. There is Cadiz, Kentucky. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, get on whatever app you're on. Give us 5 stars, because holy shit, does it help a lot to drive us up the charts.
Right.
Follow us on social media at Small Town Murder on Instagram, at Small Town Pod on Facebook. You certainly want to go to shutupandgivememurder.com. Get your tickets for live shows. There might be a few left in Grand Rapids that we just released. There's some left in October in Seattle. Portland sold out the night before, and then back-to-back nights of Philly and D.C. in December have a few tickets left. So get your tickets right now and come see us at a live show. We're very excited for that. Shutupandgivememurder.com. Big announcement on Patreon, everybody. Patreon.com/crimeinsports.
Hey.
Now, not only do you get all of these bonus episodes for $5 a month and a shout out at the end of the regular show, but you get ad-free content as well. You wanted it. You got it. Small Town Murder, Your Stupid Opinions, Crime and Sports are all ad-free, included in your $5 a month Patreon. You get all the bonus episodes. You get ad-free. No, we're not. We're crazy. That's who we are. We're not out of our minds. We're crazy. We're giving it away, everybody. So get in there and do that. This week, the episodes for Crime and Sports, Jeff Alm, a football player who had a spectacular ending to his life and career, and then Small Town Murder, people who marry prisoners, people who've married serial killers, people who continue to seek out prisoners. What the fuck are they thinking? We'll talk all about that and more. That is patreon.com/crimeinsports. Get in there right now and get your ad-free and all your bonus episodes. And you get a shout-out at the end of the regular show. You want to follow us on social media. It is very easy to do that. Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com. Drop-down menus take you anywhere you want to go.
Yeah.
So keep doing that. Keep coming back, everybody, and seeing us. And until next week, it's been our pleasure.
Cadiz nuts. Bye.